Hello and welcome to episode 1464 of The Sleeper and the Bust. It is Friday, January 16th. I'm your host, Paul Sporer, joined this morning by Justin Mason. Justin, good morning.
I mean, is it really a good morning?
Okay,
Or is it
Giants fan.
just another day in the pits of hell of being a Giants fan and watching the Dodgers sign every guy
It's not even just
possible?
Dodgers fans now either. I think it's the whole league. They are truly the evil empire. This is very reminiscent
And as
of the
my father would
Yankees.
say, I'm not angry, I'm just
Just
disappointed.
disappointed. Dude, that kind of came out of nowhere. Now, admittedly, I have been trying to follow less of the every millisecond of the hot stove to chase every rumor. So I wasn't in on every little inkling of a rumor, but I didn't
No, I
have the
mean,
Dodgers really. Like it seemed like the Jays.
in my chat, I think on Monday, someone asked me, where's Kyle Tucker gonna sign? And I said, I hate to say it, but I think the Dodgers. They're
Nailed it.
just
Nailed it.
like they have a position they can put him in, and they
Yep.
have the most. Well, they're willing to spend the most money. Um,
Yeah, well, and of course,
uh,
the contract is very interesting. 4 years, 240. This is I actually love this. This is what I try to emulate, like when I'm nerding out in OOTP as a GM, because I don't want to give the 7, 8 years, right? And I understand players want the certainty, so that's that push pull. But they went 4 240 deferrals, opt out after 27, so he has to play 2 years there before he can leave. I don't know. I like this whole setup. This I understand the frustration that it's going to bring. It's going to bring all the same, oh, Dodgers, Dodgers, whatever. Again, this is Yankees, late 90s into the early 2000s. We went through this entire thing with them. This is not the deal to make that case because it's not even that insane of a deal. Now, added to what they're already doing, it becomes insane for the Dodgers because of like their tax implications. And I realize 60 mil is a lot. I'm not saying that. But a 4 year term, that's really, I don't know. And you and I have always been like, every team can make the move if they are willing
yeah,
to pay it, right? There's no cap. So even though you can debate whether or not Tucker's worth 60 mil a year, I don't want to hear the bitching on this deal. I really don't. On this one specifically, because this is not the
my
backbreaker for me.
my whole question though is, the owners want a salary cap. What happens to the Dodgers if there is one? How are
They
they gonna
just they just
operate?
grow they'll be fine because they're not just buying the talent. They have the talent top to bottom, so maybe they shift away. Like I think they're buying
No, no,
these
I just
luxury
mean
items right
they're
now.
gonna be so far above the cap before we even have one.
Oh, you're saying like where would their current status be? Oh, I'm sure that would be worked out in the details to
It
where
would have to
they're
be
not
because
going to burn any team completely to the ground with
but
any sort
it
of
just seems
cap.
like all these other teams are operating with this idea that hey, there's gonna be a cap in 2027 or 2028. We don't have baseball in 2027. Um,
Shut up.
I mean I hope we do. I do think we're gonna miss time, but um I just the cap is going to be below what the Dodgers have on payroll, which is crazy to me that they're just operating the Dodgers are operating like there's no tomorrow, which scares the crap out of me.
I mean, yeah, maybe they're like, hey,
We'll figure it out when we get there, I
this is
guess.
flying off the cliff. I mean, because yeah, why not?
They're
Because
gonna
again,
owe
they
140 million dollars a year in 2030 to players that are no longer playing because of all the deferred money.
but all that, isn't a lot of what this math that they're doing is so that they're not hitting the caps and all the taxes and everything. Obviously, they're spending enough that they're still hitting it, but they're lessening that load. So I do hear you about, throwing caution to the wind and kind of signing this power team salary cap be damned. But again, I don't think that there's going to be some sort of deal that's going to come out and it's like these three teams are 2x the cap and so they're burned for the next 5 years.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
just don't think that would
I
work.
know they'll work it out, but it's just crazy to me to
Think
think
about the Padres though too, because they're
uh,
doing it with with less talent.
yeah,
I don't like the talent they're committing all that money to.
yeah.
At least this Dodgers team, I'm like, yeah, this is a masterpiece.
Well, there was a
Um,
report too yesterday. I doubt you saw it, but that the Golden State Warriors owner is interested in buying the Padres, and so now there's talk that they could move them out of San Diego and into Oakland.
Oh my God. That would suck. San Diego is a great place, and I mean, Petco's amazing.
Imagine
I would
them
be down.
losing the
That,
Chargers and then the Padres. Like,
I would really, really hate that.
I don't know that it would happen,
I
but
really, 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 really hope not. I would not be down for that. All right, well, let's get back to the fantasy aspect here. Obviously, Kyle Tucker is a superstar in the fantasy landscape. He is treated as such with his ADP. He is at 18 on average right now.
not for long.
Yeah, that's going to go up, folks. He's going to be a first rounder. Are you comfortable paying for a first round Kyle Tucker in LA?
Yeah, I am. Of course I am. Like,
Figured you might be.
As much as I hate the Dodgers, I still want them on my fantasy teams.
Of course. Yeah, you're not an idiot.
and-
Well, about that at least.
He's going to be hitting cleanup in LA with Otani, Betts, and Freeman in front of him.
And just to hit on our point from yesterday about Wrigley and what it was doing to lefties, and
Yeah.
how we brought that up as a concern. And then, Joe and I were like, oh my God, we're such morons for buying into that after his April. Turned out he did kind of struggle there. Now, whether it was the park or the injuries he was dealing with, I don't know. But the simple fact is that was the concern, and he had a terrible home record. They have a 95 home run park factor, Wrigley Field does, for the last 3 years for lefties, 119 for Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, they're going to be fine.
Needless to say, my concerns are gone there, and I'm fully back in on the Tucker train. That was my only holdup last year, was the talk of the left-handedness in Wrigley. And you got to split hairs when you're tie-breaking the first rounders, right? So it always seems like a piddly reason, but that's because they're superstars, right? Yeah, it's like I acknowledge he's a superstar, so I had to go to a second, third level reason, and that's why I was off Tucker. I'll be back in here. Now, where do you think it lands? Can you ballpark it here of where this ADP lands? Is it going to be in between J-Rod and Tatis? Behind Ellie at 9. J-Rod and Tatis are 9, 10, Ellie 8. So is it going to be that 8, 9, 10? Is it going to be behind Acuna at 7? Where are you thinking Tucker lands come March?
I think the J-Rod Tatis area. So I think he could fall anywhere between the 12th player off the board and the 14th. I think he's going.
Oh yeah, the numbers. Sorry, the numbers I was giving was the number of hitter.
Yeah,
the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th hitter. Yeah. Your ADPs were correct.
Yeah. So J-Rod is the 11th player off or his ADP is 11, but he's the 12th player on the list. So I think that kind of spot. I think I would probably rank him there too. So I think that sounds about right. There'll definitely be drafts where he goes top 10 quite a bit. And I'm sure there will actually be drafts where he goes in the top 5 now. It won't be my teams.
I don't think I'll do that, but I think you're right.
I'm not going to yell at people for taking him there.
No, I mean, if you're going for Tucker, what he's able to do, and now part of the Dodgers, I'm not gonna blast anyone either. I might not have my preference on that. I might be going for a Carroll or a J-Ram instead. Yeah. But if Tucker's up there, I feel it. All right, let's go to a smaller move, but fun. A fun fantasy move with guys that we've talked about a lot on this show as the key components. A 3-way trade with the Rays, Angels, and Reds. And Josh Lowe and Gavin Lux are the primary components. A guy named Chris Clark, a minor league pitcher, and lefty reliever Brock Burke are also involved. I don't think they have any fantasy relevance. So let's talk about Josh Lowe going from Tampa Bay to LA, and then we'll get from Gavin Lux going from Cincinnati to Tampa Bay. And we talked about Lux and how unbelievably putrid he was last year, so we'll get into that. But Lowe now moves out to the Angels. And we know that lefties can have a pretty good time out there in Angel Stadium. I think this could be a pretty fun move. Is he not like a left-handed Joe Adele here now? Josh Lowe?
Yeah, I mean, I think he is. I think the only downside is that he will platoon.
Wasn't he going to do that with the
he was probably
Rays anyway?
Anyways, so they needed a left-handed bat. He is only the second left-handed bat in this entire lineup. With
Nolan, right?
Yeah, Shanwell is the other. So he's gonna be hitting 5th probably in this lineup, and they still I think need at least one more lefty bat.
Yeah. If they've only got two, I'm looking at it now. They've only got two, but the lineup's starting to come together, especially if they can get some health. And obviously, Trout is chief among that. But if Soler plays like 130 games, he's a fun six hitter who can rip 30 bombs. Hoppy's perfectly fine for the bottom of the order, as a 7, 8, 9 type of guy. Vaughn Grissom's still got a little heat. I'll be interested to see if he can do anything. And then Christian Moore, a big draft pick. It's not an embarrassing lineup right now. If I can give the Angels some credit here, especially again if they can find some health, that will be instrumental though, because even guys like Adele and Lowe himself have dealt with injuries too. So it's not just Trout. It is real. And then Neto at the very top had a big injury last year. So they really need some health, but it is looking like a lot more competent lineup there in LA that maybe you don't just auto spam against, especially with a home run guy, because I think that's where they're going to be strongest is home runs.
I mean, and Lowe is like a pretty good price. 281 in Draft Champions since the beginning of the month or beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fine. Like,
I do too. Do you think it goes up here?
I think it goes up a little bit, but like even if it goes up, let's say 250, that's like in the Mickey Moniak area, the Colton Hauser area, Anthony Santander area. Like, I think you're fine with that. I mean, a lot of it's going to come down to health for Lowe as well. He's been a guy who's had his own issues staying healthy, but I really kind of like the upside here, and I don't know what the Angels are going to do in terms of the running game. They're probably not going to run as much as they were under Ron Washington, but ultimately, like, I think he's still got plenty of upside, and he's not old or anything. Josh Lowe, is 27, going to be 28 coming into this year. So I love this deal for the Angels. The Angels didn't give up very much, and they're picking up a huge need without having to spend money.
Now, and I totally agree with you there. Now, you would normally think, if you listened to this show for a long time or read my stuff for a while, you would think that Gavin Lux going to Tampa Bay would be a Paul Sporer special. I'm generally interested in anybody who goes to Tampa Bay. They're a smart organization. It at least draws my interest. It doesn't automatically mean I sign them or draft them on all my teams or whatever, but I'm interested in seeing what the smart teams do. And everyone knows that I'm obsessed with Gavin Lux and have been for years.
You are.
I don't give a shit about this dude. He was so bad last year. I think I'm finally off it. And if he happens to pop with the Rays, I'll enjoy it from afar or pick him up off the wire, because I don't know, man. I cannot underscore how bad he was last year. 503 plate appearances, and he had 6 combined homers and steals. 5 and 1, Justin. Like, that is impossibly bad production on a solid Cincinnati team, too. I don't know that I can get excited about him going to the Trop. Now, and again, with Lux, 3 situations that I would die for. He started with the Dodgers, one of the best teams. Okay, didn't work with them. Too many cooks in the kitchen. Not enough room or whatever. Go to Cincy, hitter's haven, super flop, and now he goes to the Rays, and I'm not falling for it. So I'm out. You guys have fun. I know he's dirt cheap, but that's for a reason. He's probably not cheap enough. Yeah, 562.
Sorry.
Got to be cheaper. Go against me.
At 562, he's free, right? Like,
but free for a reason. A lot of what else is free? Trash. You can just go take trash. Actually, I don't think you.
Here's my argument against, right, or against what you're saying.
For Lux against me.
For Lux. One, he is free, right? Only 450 players get drafted in a 15-team NFBC league, right? So he's going 100 picks after that.
Let me pull the meme aside for a moment and just agree with that. He is cheap enough that he will end up on at least one of my rosters, but continue. Do you have any case for the talent?
Have you looked at roster resource yet?
Yes.
If we
believe that, I can get.
I mean, you look at this roster and like, he's the guy who walks, right?
Look at all these Sporer Mason specials. Gavin Lux, Cedric Mullins, Jake Fraley.
Are we running the Rays?
Yeah, we ran their offseason, guys. We didn't tell y'all, but the reason we didn't do as many pods in the fall is we were busy. We ran a front office, and we just went and got 3 of our favorite players for free.
I think, like, everybody's like, oh, Jason's the one who always talks about the Rays. Jason talks too much about the Rays, but it's really been us behind the scenes.
That's right.
Pulling the string.
Yep.
Cedric Mullins. And
he was the diversion. Look over here. And then we're the ones going out and
Miranda,
getting Fraley off of waivers.
Yeah, Fraley. Like, I mean, even the pitching, Rasmussen, like
Little Pepio and my Stepio.
right? Steven Matz has been a guy of ours before. Like, it is a weird looking team, but
It really is. So
right now,
do you buy this
him as
leadoff?
the leadoff hitter?
Okay.
I don't know if I buy it either. Like, but at pick 450, the last pick of a 15-teamer,
right,
I might take a dart throw and wait to find out, because I can drop him, right? And like, I can drop him and go pick up the next guy.
And I'll even take him in a league where I can't drop Lux, right? Again, put the joke aside for a moment about my disappointment with him. In a draft champions where he's going that cheaply, I will take a shot, because it is a measure of guaranteed playing time. I think if he repeats what he did last year, the playing time will start to evaporate, and Lux won't get 503 plate appearances again. But if you can get even 350, like league average boring plate appearances at pick 560 in a DC, there is some value to that. So I do want to pull back a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's purely like a mediocre batting average.
Yep. It's boring as hell.
Potential for a lot of runs, but runs are like one of the most undervalued stats in fantasy. People forget it, and they're hard to get later on in the draft, right?
Bingo.
So, like, I think for me to be able to put him on my reserve list or my bench and bring him in when I need runs, I like the opportunity cost, because it's nothing.
I'm still cautious about a 15-team like waivers league, but like you said, you can just jump out. Like if Lux is failing, okay, you're done. Because even 2024 was still only 15 homers plus steals, 10 and 5 in 487 plate appearances. So we've just never seen the fantasy juice. He'll need to have a good batting average and be scoring runs to be valuable. Gavin Lux with the Rays now. Josh Lowe with the Angels, we like quite a bit better. Let's get back into first base. I know, but like,
I'm not saying like he's gonna ever turn into the guy that we thought he would be.
Let me check one thing here.
Okay,
again, I'll spend the winter trying to convince myself to get back in, but right now I am taking a little bit of a hard line of like,
there's like nothing in the profile that like,
right. I was going to check his speed. Again, we know, I'll always reiterate, you don't need speed to be a base stealer, but I wanted to see if he had...
Isn't he going from a team who loved to steal to a team that doesn't really? Or am I wrong here?
So it might even be getting worse for him. I think... I'll check last year's steal count. We're going to get back... Right, no, Tampa Bay was the stealingest team by 30 steals. Okay. So he's going to the runningest...
Part of that was 44 stolen bases from Chandler Simpson.
But that's just the edge over first place plus a little then.
Yeah.
How many did you say he had?
44, I believe.
Take the 44 away, that gives them 150, and that still puts them in fourth if you take away their best guy. So they were still running there as a team. Jake Mangum.
19.
What's that?
Since he was 19.
Yeah, so maybe they give Lux some tips. Because, again, if he can get some fantasy juice, that was my biggest issue. Because I had Lux a bunch last year, and I held him longer than I should have because he's playing every day. I'm like, it's a bat that I can move in and out until I finally woke up and I saw he was doing nothing with the fantasy juice. If they can squeeze 8 to 10 steals out of him and he can rip, a handful of homers, it could be there. So I've softened. I'm still being cautious about a one-time super favorite of mine, Gavin Lux. Let's get back into first base. Let's start with a Justin Mason favorite here in Tier 6. Again, if you want to follow along, we are using the tiers of our rankers. Mike Podhorzer did our first base ranks. You can pull those up. If it is different, just see if there's been an update recently. I pulled these as of January 15th, so I don't know when his last update was. It was on the 13th, so we should still be good here. And Tier 6 starts with Jake Burger, a guy that you really liked last year and brought me on board. I was like, yeah, I do think this could be really good in Texas. It started poorly. He got sent out, came back, hit the ground running after the demotion, but then kind of fizzled again. And all in all, I would say it was a disappointing year for what we were hoping Jake Burger could do. What does he do? Where does he go from here? Because, some time lost, only 103 games, only 16 homers. He wasn't horrendous, but he certainly wasn't great either. Is Jake Burger someone who's staying on your radar?
Yeah, but it's weird because I look at the price and I go, God, that is kind of cheap. But I also go, there's a guy going right next to him where I am going to take him 100 out of 100 times in Andrew Vaughn. I almost feel like it isn't cheap enough, even though it is much cheaper at pick 290 for Jake Burger, because the risk level has always been high on Burger, but it got even higher last year when they sent him to the minors.
That was tough, dude.
right? Like, and I understood in some ways why they did. I really felt like this was a bad analytical decision because the underlying number said like he was going to turn it around and be fine, and he was just going through kind of a cold streak that Jake Berger goes through.
You wonder if it was maybe something more that they knew he needed the head clearing.
And maybe it was, but like once, like, you know, we talk all the time, right? Like the Ron Chandler, like once you show a skill, like you own that skill.
Right.
Organizations have that too, right? When they show that they will send a player down quickly, the Baltimore Orioles with prospects, they own that. They have that skill forever, right? Like,
well, until the regime changes.
Until the regime changes, right? So, like, you know, it's the whole reason, like,
not that kind of regime change, but yeah,
it's the whole reason why I'm like a little skeptical on some of the Baltimore guys, like, right, is because in spite of the fact that might be the top prospect, like they could get sent down if they struggle out the gate, right? And so now we know like Texas will send a guy like Jake Berger down. So he already has a lower floor because of the swing and miss problems. And now you add in that. And I just don't know that I want to take the risk when there are other guys at the position that I really like.
I think that's totally fair to turn your interest from last year a bit more tepid because of what we saw this year. And that send down is very scary because in a situation that we're in with NFBC, which is where we were advocating taking him, you're not necessarily going to hold him through that. And I don't know what your decisions were when he got sent out, but like it wasn't an auto hold with Jake Berger. And so I'm sure some people cut bait, and that's just tough. So, you know, he is a guy who still has 30 homer power. I totally believe that, but it is a pretty risky 30 homers. And I agree with you on Vaughn.
I will say that I do prefer him in non-NFBC leagues, right? If I'm in a 10-team Yahoo league or a 12-team Yahoo league or something like that, where the waiver wire is going to be flush, like the upside is still 30 plus homers.
Absolutely.
While Texas is definitely going through like a rebuilding like process of sorts,
what are they doing?
I don't know.
Do they know? Should we go run them?
Like
we finished the race.
That bad.
I know there's talent. There's like legit talent.
Technically, we kind of are running them, right? It's like Brandon Nimmo, Wyatt Langford,
Seager, Peterson, Berger.
Peterson, Berger. You were an Evan Carter fan.
Big Evan Carter guy,
Josh Young guy. I'm a Josh Young guy. We love
Dan Jan.
Yeah. Like this is.
We're running every team, guys.
Yeah, like this is a Justin Mason Paul Sporer type of organization here.
We don't want to take too much credit for it because they did go 81-81. Let's wait till they win the World Series again. I don't think they will with this team. But no, I'm with you on Berger. Like, it's an okay offense, so you're fine there. He's fine. But there's other guys I like, and you mentioned Vaughn, who's not in until Tier 8. Mike Podorza does not like Vaughn nearly as much. Berger's at the top of Tier 6. Vaughn is at the bottom of Tier 7. I said 8. Bottom of Tier 7. So they're pretty far apart for Mike, and you and I agree more with the ADP that they should be close and that we actually like Vaughn more. We'll get to Vaughn in a moment. Let's go to Jack Kaggs, who we did hit on a bit yesterday with our boy Joe, who does love him. So let's just put that out. He's not joining us this morning because he's sleeping through the pain of losing out Tucker to the Dodgers. Yeah. But he loves Jack Kaggs, and of course with the Park move, he's only going to love him more because of what that could do for his power. He came up and he showed you what an all or nothing, swing from your heels type of guy could be without actually striking out a ton. He actually deserved way more. He had a 172 BABIP, 7 bombs in his 62 games, 22% K, 8% walk. I'm not losing my mind at that for Jack Kaggs. What does he do in his first full year? Obviously, the fence move helps. Are you in on him the way Joe is?
Before I answer that question, let's just talk real quick about Joe, because I want the listeners to do something, right? They were willing to, dime, me out to Paul on the whole finger situation. I'd like as many people as possible to just send my condolences to Joe on Twitter or Blue Sky. No other context. And let's just see what happens, right? I don't know if Joe's going to listen to this pod or when he's going to, if he does, like when it's going to be. So just, go to Twitter or Blue Sky. I think it's what Joe Arrico MLB or something like that.
Oh yeah, because there are 2 Joe Arricos in the sports landscape, which is crazy.
And just say my condolences. No other context. But as far as Jock goes, I love him. And I think we talked about this briefly yesterday. Like, I was really, really bummed about the news that they're going to lower the fences and bring him in a little bit because I feel like his price is just going to shoot up.
100%. We
like
should say what that price is right now, around 230. Oh, we should also point out, not first base eligible everywhere. He does have 10 game eligibility though, so it's not the 5 that you hate. It is at least 10 game, which there are more than one outlet that uses 10. A lot of home leagues use 10.
He probably won't get first base.
I don't think he will. So it is a sliver here of first base eligibility, but we'll cover him here. We'll probably talk about him at outfield too, just because it'll be weeks until we get there, and things could have changed on the ADP.
He's just a really good pure hitter within the zone, 89% zone contact. He does swing outside the zone way too much, 40%.
And that's, sorry, I to interrupt you immediately again. That's what I meant, because it didn't show in the strikeouts or the swinging strike being 13%, which isn't terrible, but he does go for it. He's just able to make contact. Maybe it's not good enough contact. Get back on Cags.
And that kind of stuff can scare you, right? Because that is the same kind of swing decision profile that guys like Pete Crow Armstrong and Michael Harris have. Right. And so there are probably going to be cold streaks. And I think those people who feel like, hey, he's gonna, they're probably looking at like great zone contact, top tier prospect, a guy who hit like 337 in the minor leagues last year. They're like, oh, this guy is gonna like just bust out. And I think there is that potential, right? But I think there also this potential that he is not going to be a very stable player week to week. So those of you in head-to-head leagues may want to think twice unless you're getting a really good price on Gagliano. And so I'm a little bit tepid on him in head-to-head formats. I do love him though in roto leagues. I just think he's going to like deliver a really solid line. I think the Royals are not going to Oriole him around.
Oriole him around is funny.
That's the term for it.
Do you think 235 ADP in the last 9 draft champions since the new year, is his ADP inside the top 200 soon for Jack Cags?
I think it could be.
I'll be a little bit more firm. I think it will be. It might take some time, right? Because you gotta pull up the data. But I think when we do a slice, say from today, January 16th, until that outfield preview that we do, that he'll be on.
And I'm honestly, I'd kind of be fine with that. If it gets much higher than that, like, because right now inside the top 200, there is a trio of outfielders with a 4th and a 5th kind of close by. And that's,
I see the guys you're talking about.
Yeah, Sal Frelick.
Yeah.
Dan Lyle, Brian Reynolds, Dalton Varsho, and Jason Dominguez. I think that's a perfect spot.
Cags can absolutely be in that group. He kind of already should be. He should be moving up from that group. But yeah, he belongs there.
Guys in that group I like more, and then and less, right? But like that feels fine to me. Like that feels like an area where I could still get him. If he started moving up too far, and we start putting him, I don't know, like or Stephen Kwan, like 170 for Stephen Kwan. That'd
be a
185 for Hap. I start questioning it. Like I don't have a problem necessarily with it. But like if let's say he got in the 150s, like or 160s, Bretton Doyle, I'm taking Doyle. Like,
Joe's going to be the only one doing that. I was going to say Butler, Joe's going to be the one doing that. Now, I've tried this gambit before, and it did not work, so I don't really recommend it.
Don't do it then.
But, one time doesn't mean something's bad, right? I did it with Chris Davis with a K and Billy Hamilton, but what about and I did it way more expensively than what I'm going to suggest. What about like a Chandler Simpson, Jack Cags, turn at some point in the draft if it was around, say, pick 180?
I would not do that.
Are you worried about the combined batting average from the two, or just the mash of it just doesn't work for you?
One, we go back to being Orioled around. Like Chandler Simpson is a guy who could be Orioled around, right? Like
he scares me. Obviously, I want to be clear. I'm not advocating for this. I'm just thought propositioning it.
I wrote an article last night for Fantasy Pros, and it was like the 10 hitters you shouldn't draft.
And Chandler was on it?
I
do agree.
Largely because I think we talk about this all the time with rabbits, right? If you put all your eggs into one guy's basket for a category, and it's just like when you draft like a closer early on, right?
And he's your only guy.
And like somebody gets hurt, like, yeah, you can find it on the wire, but it's not going to be easy.
Right.
And you may not be able to find the volume you're looking for in one spot on the wire.
Simpson
right?
hit 295. I want to point out. I had in my mind a lower average,
No,
so I was like, I was worried
he's
that.
got the batting average. The
Yeah,
problem is his skill set is valuable for fantasy, and it is not nearly as valuable for real life baseball. And we saw that when they sent him down last year.
because he's not a good defender. If he had like the great defense to go, like if that speed translated into defense for Simpson, I think he would hold his spot more readily.
The low trade definitely makes things a little bit easier, right?
Agreed.
Because that was someone who, probably a strong side, platoon outfielder, just like Chandler Simpson. But I think one, it's the rabbit problem. I don't want to risk that. Like if I think there was a draft already that I did where I got Chandler Simpson because he dropped to like 220 or something like that.
I could pay outside 200, sure.
Yeah, I was like, okay, and my stolen bases, I didn't really need like a ton of stolen bases, so like I really only needed to get like 25 to 30 from him, and everything else on top of it is gravy. The other problem is I don't know what power we're actually gonna get from Caglianone.
Well, yeah, because the idea that if combining those two, the idea is that you're needing 30 at a minimum, and even that's only 15 per player spot, and that's not necessarily enough on its own either.
Even if you just tripled his 232 plate appearances, which he's not going to get 700 plate appearances this year, that would be 21 home runs. And part of the issue is the launch angle. He had a 4-degree launch angle last year, a 50% ground ball rate. I know they're moving in the fences, but like you still can't hit home runs when you're hitting the ball on the ground 50% of the time. So, like,
right, those are never going out.
Yeah, like unless you're moving the fence into the infield, like ground balls are not going to translate to home runs. Now he obviously could change. He had a 14-degree launch angle in the minor leagues. That would be much more conducive for hitting home runs. But I just do want to say, like, I think there's a risk here that Caglianone isn't very good. Like I think there are going to be a lot of people that look at him and go, "This is a star." He's young. He was a top tier prospect. He hit 7 home runs in his debut. The batting average will get better because of the contact skills. But there's a lot of red flags floating around that I think people, including myself, are ignoring. So like this isn't a guy I would like drafted every single league like Joe has.
Yeah, I mean, he's a fascinating player, Jack Kaggs is, and the skills are loud, but he's
definitely a guy I want to have on some teams.
Right. Well, we have the beauty of
exposure, like is probably a mistake.
Yeah, you want to be careful with a profile like this that could go south, having too much of it. The beauty of what we do with playing a lot of leagues is that, we always see it as like a portfolio. So we can get a little slice of that, slice of that, so you're in on everything. And that's nice, but people that play one league or maybe two, if you play like two, I wouldn't go double Kaggs necessarily. I maybe get one, see how it goes. But I'm probably more in on him just generally in 2027. I think I just want to see the year and kind of see where he goes to get a better handle on him, especially because I am worried about the price jump. We talked about it yesterday. I think people are going to be making multiple round jumps for guys like Kaggs and Pasquantino, and I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Let's talk Jonathan Aranda, who had a wonderful season last year. Panned out, right? Like he's been one of these fantasy darlings that people have said, got to get some health. Let's see what he can do with the playing time. And he did it. Now, he only got 106 games, but they were really good. 14 homers, 59 ribs, 316 average, even had an all-star bid. He was kind of like a baby Yandy Diaz. And that's kind of how I see Jonathan Aranda. Are you excited for a follow-up here from him?
So he did exactly what we were just talking about. We want guys to do, which is raise his launch angle, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had a single-digit launch angle in 22 and 23, and then 24 it was 11 degrees, and then last year it was 14.5 degrees, while not giving up the exit velocities, the hard hits, the barrels, and things like that. Like he made the exact change we've wanted to see Yandy Diaz make for a really long time, and he really hasn't been able to. While still having pretty good in-zone contact numbers. 83.5% is right around league average, maybe a tad bit below. Swing strike rate was 11%. I think we saw exactly what we wanted from a guy like Jonathan Aranda. The main question is, is he going to stay on the field for more than, 422 plate appearances?
Right. He did have a wrist injury, and he gets platooned.
Yeah, I mean, right now, we don't have him in a platoon. because
Okay.
they have to platoon Lux, they have to platoon Fraley, and they have to platoon Simpson, and you only get so many bench options.
Exactly. And a pure hitter like Aranda can hold his own enough against lefties. And he did last year. He did need a great BABIP. We should point out 409 BABIP. He really, really needed that to come through. 413 versus right, 393 versus left to sustain him. I think he can give that back and still be good, though. The problem is, or the question is versus left, where's it going to go? Because if it dips down, obviously, like, 300, 290, then that batting average comes way down. But against righties, I think he'll give a little, but still be a batting average power asset. So I still like him even if he's platooning. But like you said, they're going to run out of platoon spots. Would you rather Aranda playing all day and taking maybe some of the badness versus left, or curating him? Which, if you had your way with Aranda, what would you prefer?
I'd rather him get all the plate appearances and then let me curate. If I see two lefties on a weekend slate, I'll sit him.
Yeah,
right.
Because he's 653 career versus lefties for his OPS with a 347 BABIP. Now that's 133 plate appearances. That's nothing. Most of that was last year at 98 plate appearances, but they've always worried about him versus lefties, and I think they're going to continue to.
I do think he will platoon at times because they're gonna have to.
Yeah, and they love mixing and matching.
Yeah, and they're gonna mix and match. We just can't show that as easily that. Everybody's gonna be in a platoon at some point on this roster. So
except for Cammy and Yandy, they're the staples, and then everyone else.
Be in. I still can't believe Taylor Walls is projected.
Their favorite. Put him down for $160. It's unbelievable. All right,
They don't even have Carson. We don't even have Carson Williams on the roster.
That annoys me so much.
That can't be right.
I mean, maybe it's just the early thinking of hey, they're going to slow roll him and we'll see how it goes. But if Taylor Walls, I swear to God, unbelievable. Let's get to Sal Stewart, the big winner from last night's trade, at least for the folks that are really excited about him in fantasy. Now, I will say, the Sal Stewart lovers have been drafting him come hell or high water already. So thankfully they already got their shares because this price is about to go up. He's 214 ADP over the last 9 drafts, again, since the beginning of the year. Now expected to find playing time with Lux clearing out for him in Cincinnati. Had a nice sample to end the year. People are excited about Sal Stewart, and now with the playing time locking in, I think he's going to go inside the top 200. Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. I don't think I'm going to have a ton of Sal Stewart. I do think people are going to get a little bit crazy because they're like, oh, he hit 5 home runs and 58 plate appearances last year.
Extrapolate that.
Yeah, right? Turn that into 40 home runs.
Yeah.
I think Sal Stewart's an interesting guy, and he obviously plays in Cincinnati, which is one of the best places, if not the best place in Major League Baseball to hit. I just do wonder if we're gonna get a little bit crazy here, and I can understand why though, man. The minor league numbers are so good.
That's the thing. For those that aren't familiar with Sal Stewart, didn't miss coming up. Every stop wasn't just above average; it was banger. His worst stop by WRC Plus was 126. So the worst he ever was a quarter better than a league average type player, ranging as high as 164 at AAA last year.
2023.
He got better. The bigger numbers come later, including last year when he put up a 146 at AA and a 164 at AAA. Sal Stewart's looking like a dude. He also had a sneaky 17 for 20 steals in the minors. Now, in 18 major league games, he didn't get to run. I'm curious, do you think there's going to be any running?
I think in order for him to have the type of breakout that I think a lot of people are going to be pushing him up the board for, he needs to have those stolen bases. Because as much as I think there is pop in the bat, I don't think it's prodigious power.
He had 20 and 500 plate appearances last year.
So I could see him being if he could steal 20 bases and he's a 25-20 guy with a good average. And I don't think it's gonna be a 290 average. I think we're talking 250 to 270 kind of range. Then he becomes really interesting. But if he goes into single digits and if you look at all the projection systems, though all the projection systems have for 400 plate appearances, they all have them for 5 steals ish and then teens homers. Ratchet that up because more playing time, you're still talking about a guy who's maybe 25-10, which is good. It's fine, but
really good with a 270 average.
150 range. Like all
Well,
of a sudden,
let's start scaling him up the board again. Sal Stewart here, 214 ADP since the new year. That's going up, folks. Spencer Torkelson's next. We're both big fans. I think we're going to stick with Big Torque. Aranda, we just talked about. I think we're both sticking with Aranda. Christian Walker at 187 maybe needs to be lower, given that Aranda and Torque are right behind him. But I think I'm going to buy back in on Walker and give him a little bit.
In a Walker.
I'm going to give him a pass. Wash away some of the injury concern, or not wash away the concerns, but wash away some of the underperformance that he was playing through injury, because he played all year. But for those who don't know, I think he hurt himself in spring and just grinded through it.
Yeah.
Because it was clear that he wasn't himself all year, and he still mashed out 27.88.
Are you the whole tier above him? Wilson Contreras, Christian Walker, Jonathan Aranda, Spencer Torkelson.
Yeah,
are you personally moving Sal Stewart above any of those guys?
No. As I keep going, I can't get there.
And I think he will get above those guys.
I do agree with that too, yeah.
I don't see a world in which I have very much Sal Stewart.
You know
the most useful part of Sal Stewart is going to be for me this year is it going to be an
making
early
your
guy,
other guys cheaper.
Yeah, early guy to throw out in an auction.
Yeah. Let the hype train go while you catch a smoke on that.
Especially if he has a big spring. Like if he hits like
Oh
7 spring home runs, like he will be my first throw. Like I'll be like, here you guys go, spend your money.
It'll get insane. Because in I don't know if this is the right way to look at it. In fact, I don't think it is, because I don't want to judge this player off of all the players before him. But when's the last time we gassed up a big Cincinnati guy and they actually freaking clicked, dude? Matt McClain flopped. Friedel was good.
Friedel was great.
And then got hurt, so he's good. But Noelve flopped. Jeimer Candelario flopped. Noelve hit at the end of last year. I don't want to say flops a little bit. It's a little bit too much to say flop on Noelve, but he didn't completely click. Christian Encarnacion Strand did get hurt, so I give him a little bit of a pass. Who did you just say before that? Oh, Will Benson. Which, come on, we should have known that. No one should have fallen for that one.
Aristides Aquino,
that one's, dude, that's still one of the greatest Linsanity runs, though, ever. But my point is I'm looking up and down this lineup, and I'm always, getting excited about Cincinnati guys, and I'm not getting the payoff that I feel like I should be getting, and so I'm just going to be a little bit more cautious here, and I'm not going to run Stewart up.
Can we be a little devil's advocate here? I will say I think Sal Stewart's got a pretty decent floor. So I don't think he's gonna be bad. I
like his average more than you too, because I would project him for 270, 265, 270. I could
see it.
I'm projecting him for that.
I'm not projecting him for that. I mean, he hit 255 in
it's 18 games. If you think that's a worthwhile sample on any level, I'm gonna punch you. He had a 257 BABIP. Who cares? That is a meaningless sample. I take nothing from that. Positive, negative.
It's league average. It's league average contact skills. League. Maybe a little bit above league average.
He's been a teens K guy all the way up. He did strike out 26% in that small sample, but that's why I don't give a shit about that sample. It's
I'm not as worried about the sample in terms of that. I don't think he will strike out a ton. I don't think he makes decent contact. I could definitely see a 270. I think I have him projected for 263 or something like that.
That's fine. I said 265, 270. So we're talking a couple of hits there. So we like him for that's a good projected average. I was watching Bubba and Bloom last night. They were doing their first outfield preview. Check them out, guys. They do a great pod. Bubba and Bloom are good buddies. And they had their board up, and I think Bubba pointed out, bro, 2 of our top 30 projected outfielders here have an average above 280, I think was the threshold that he used. Because they put up the top 30 and they give the projections from all of our Fangraphs projection sites here, or projection models. So
get your batting average early.
A projected 263 average, let's just use Justin's number, even if that's what you're projecting somebody, that's really good. So that is a positive for Sal Stewart. Outfield is rough, and we'll get into that obviously when we get there.
Every position I felt like when I've looked through it, I've been like, oh, this is kind of deep. Ooh, this is kind of deep. And you get to outfield and you're like, oh God.
I was a little stunned watching that preview last night, because of course Ryan also pointed out something that we like to hit on too. It's you might see a bunch of stars, but you need 5, and those all the stars are going to go before you blink, right? So you're not getting 2 of those unless it's your first 2 picks.
Yahoo, it's not so bad, right? Because you only draft 3 outfielders.
Right.
Yeah, in the other leagues,
It starts to really dry up. So on Stewart, I'm gonna want to see where the ADP goes. If it skyrockets the way both Justin and I are concerned it will, I just don't see myself getting in. I like the profile, but I think there's too much risk when compared to stalwarts like Wilson Contreras, Christian Walker, Jonathan Aranda, and Spencer Torkelson. Stalwart maybe not the right phrase for Aranda. He has 1 year with 400 plate appearances. I will pull
point I
off
was
of that.
making though with Stewart, like having kind of a decent floor for a guy who's going to be a rookie, is a lot of those guys you just mentioned, they actually don't have as good of floors, and we've seen
right.
Like Wilson Contreras has had some injuries where it's like, hey, he could miss time, right?
Torque
like,
got sent out. Remember, it was a couple years ago now, but he got sent out.
Christian Walker was terrible last year, so like their floors actually may be below Sal Stewart's. But like if those guys are back to being the guys we've seen, like I think their upside's greater. So
yeah.
I understand why Sal Stewart's gonna like take a massive jump. I just don't know that he's gonna be on very many of my teams.
I'll be eager to see in your market reports how much he's moving up. Let's talk about one of those guys who is behind him that I am sticking with, because despite the fact that the Christian Walker season in Houston didn't quite pan out, again, as I look at it in the composite, because I remember him being, I'm trying to get the details on what he was grinding through. Because again, he played. So you're not going to see an injury in the volume. 154 and 640 on the games and plate appearances. Like, what injury are you talking about? I need to find what the exact one was. I was right about Austin Wells. I will find this one. But he grinded through, I think it was a hamstring injury pretty much all year. And he still, like I said earlier, went 27-88, which is something. It was a 238 average. He wasn't terrible all year. You could still utilize Christian Walker. I think now that he's settled and hopefully healthy, I think he can pop off this year. I really liked him last year going to Houston. Weirdly enough, he took no advantage of the Crawford boxes. Yeah. He hit 202 at home with just 8 of his 27 homers. I'm hoping he can flip that. I feel like that's more of a fluke than a true indicator, but maybe I'm just wish casting because I like Christian Walker. What do you think?
Yeah, in the second half, he hit 250 with 15 home runs and in 240 plate appearances.
He was himself.
Plate appearances. He was back to being the guy that he was. And I do think he's going to kind of just settle in a little bit more, like you said. And, maybe it's not prime Christian Walker, with 30 plus, but I think he could threaten 30 home runs this year and, do it with, a decent average, like a 250 kind of batting average. I may project the batting average a little bit lower as we are starting to see kind of like that skills decline that we see from, older players. He's 34. Right. He's going to be 35 coming into the season. So I think he turns 35 on opening day.
Oh, cool.
So I am like a concern, like, hey, is this a guy that could kind of just fall off? And maybe what we saw last year is the beginning and the end. But I have a little bit of faith that, like he was better in the second half. He was more of the guy that we're used to seeing. But yeah, the underlying contact skills were still degrading as the season went on. So that is a little bit concerning to me, but the price I think is right for, to take a gamble here.
Yeah, I think so. I think that paying a 200 something or just before 200, 187 ADP for Christian Walker, I have no real problem with that. I am thinking that I might have dreamt this early season injury that he played. I thought maybe he just started slow because he was struggling in Houston. But I thought, he did have an oblique strain. Yes, pulls right again. He had no oblique strain. But remember the details are falling back into place. He had the oblique strain. We freaked. The news came out strong that he's not as bad, and he was back in the cage quickly. Maybe we should have taken it a little bit more seriously. Maybe he should have sat out. Uh-oh. Who'd the Dodgers sign now?
Not the Dodgers.
Oh, there they go. There's the consolation.
3-year deal, $126 million with Bo Bichette. The Mets kind of came out of nowhere on this one.
These tiny deals, probably because they lost Tucker. They were second place on Tucker.
The Phillies were the ones who were
right. So they're
like, we're going to take them from the Phillies.
When they lost Tucker, they said, let's go burn our division rivals. Okay, that's very interesting there. We'll get back into that in a moment. I want to finish on Walker. Don't interrupt me when I'm being right. That oblique thing was there, and I think that played a role in the first half. So like I said, he did play through what I believe was maybe a little bit more of a serious oblique injury than was originally thought when he put up a 622 in the first half, or excuse me, 660 OPS in the first half for Christian Walker. I think he'll be basically his second half times 2, which was a 799 OPS and 15 bombs. I'm back in on Walker. All right, now let's go back to Bo Bichette here. I'm going to put this in our rundown.
Yeah,
Bo Bichette to
this
NYM.
is an interesting signing.
Yeah, I know this is first base preview, but we got to talk about breaking news like this when it happens. So,
where
Bo
does Bichette play?
That is exactly what I was going to ask you, so I'm not going to answer. No, I'm bringing it up right now.
Third?
Oh, well, yeah, Beatty's cooked. Absolutely. It's got to be third.
That hurts me, dude. I just traded for Beatty. I drafted him both my gladiators.
I love Beatty, but he's cooked. Absolutely. Like, I mean, where else are you putting him? You brought in Semien to play second. Lindor obviously has short lock.
Blanco.
Yeah. Vientos.
That sucks.
Now, has Beatty played any first in the majors? Because it might be a Vientos-Beatty platoon. Yeah. So I think it might. He's only played second and third, but I bet he could play some first. Maybe they'll let him play some first.
Maybe they trade him.
Maybe they have a move coming. Yeah, because go ahead.
The outfield, like, are you really rolling with Tyrone Taylor?
Carson Bench, Tyrone Taylor, and Soto.
They like Bench.
Is the outfield. I know, but like,
I don't know why they like Bench, but they do like him.
I'm fine with Bench. I'm saying, should a team that's trying to be one of the top 4 or 5 contenders have a rookie as their starting left fielder? Shouldn't he be on the bench or like fighting for a job?
Bellinger wants 7 years. That's why
they might still be looking to get him, but not at 7 years.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to get 7 years.
And especially, like, we clowned that yesterday when we talked about Bellinger, that 7 years was insane. And now seeing Tucker get 4 and Bichette get 3, I'm sorry, he's going to have to whittle down to one of these smaller packs.
He should have taken
market
the 5
right now.
The Yankees were offering.
Yeah, if he gets the 7, I'll tip my cap to Boris, because I shouldn't doubt Boris, but I just don't see it.
Why do they hate Brett Beatty, dude? It was my freaking guy this year.
I know. I still like him because the price will go down, but for like a draft champions thing. Because now, like, Polanco's 33 at the age.
I traded for him in my 130 team dynasty league. Like,
well, now, okay, let's.
First round picks.
What about? Could he move to left field? Could Beatty be an outfielder?
Maybe.
I mean, do they maybe start to think a little bit more outside the box of something that we're not thinking of right now? Because, we have Benj penciled in right now. And again, nothing against him. He's a solid guy, but he's a 2024 first rounder. Is that who a contending team should be putting in as their opening day left fielder? I don't think
John
so.
Morosi, Bichette is expected to play third base.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. So Beatty, you're not playing third. Now, he might be able to contend for some first base role because as much as I like Vientos, remember, I love Beatty and Vientos as players, but I have big issues with Vientos's profile for fantasy last year, and it did not work. I'm not sure he's locked in at first. Maybe Beatty can play first. So I wouldn't be too worried about your Beatty investment just yet.
Yeah.
Despite how much you don't sound like you're not worried.
Bummed. I am.
Understandably.
I'm bummed. Like,
no, that sucks, especially just trading for him for a real return.
Shout out to Jason Martinez, who literally has updated this while we're talking.
That's amazing.
Like, I literally just hit refresh.
I see it too. Yeah, I hit it too. We should also point out, just to maybe help you soothe the pain a little bit, 18-8 with a 111 WRC plus for Beatty last year. Like, I feel like they see him as a player for this team. I think first. Oh, did you see what else changed there? He's staying in. Now, this is Jason, right? This is Jason's.
Polanco at first, Beatty at DH, and
Vientos out. Told you. And I think that is more likely for the verse right lineup. Yeah, I think Vientos is the guy who gets dinged here versus right, especially.
Vientos doesn't have options, and Beatty does. Like,
no, I think they both stay on the team.
Yeah, they could.
Because Beatty can back up second as well. I know they have Ronnie Mo and Acuna, but he can move around. Yeah. Now, what they'll need, they still need to figure out their outfield, right? Yeah. So this is not set. But I think Vientos is more hurt.
Not be their solution center.
Like, I hear what you're saying about. They actually
do need Bellinger here. Like
he would be kind of a perfect fit, right?
Like he can play center. Like they need Bellinger. Like, and imagine this lineup with this lineup's actually really, really good in the top 7. when you've got Beatty and Alvarez hitting
at 6'7". Oh God, like, you did that on purpose, did you?
I really didn't. But
damn it.
Like, imagine adding Bellinger and you throw Bellinger into like the 4 or 5 hole and then move guys down. Like they gotta go get Bellinger here. Like I feel like that's like I don't know if Bellinger will do it, but like he seems to be really set on wanting to get 7 years.
Who's giving him 7?
No one, but
that's what I'm saying. I just don't see
it. The Yankees are going to give him 5. The Yankees would be like, "Hey, our offer's still on the board." Maybe
he's getting 4 or 5 from somebody. Maybe. Like,
yeah,
he would be a perfect fit for this team. Again, I want to reiterate, I see your point on Vientos not having options versus Beatty, but I don't think, and which is something to always be mindful of, folks, when you're trying to decide these machinations. But Beatty was so much better of a player. I think you need to go with the better talent.
I think, yeah, you probably just go with the better talent.
So we'll see how that shakes out. But that is very interesting stuff there. I do think you want to move Vientos down in your drafts and Beatty a little bit too, just because we have him penciled in at DH doesn't mean that that's going to be locked. But maybe you get a cheaper price on Beatty. I'll still buy Beatty.
Somewhere like
I think if they can't get Bellinger, see, they even put Carson Benj in left. I think Jason did that because it's a CB and he's expecting to put Cody Bellinger in there. But if they can't get a Bellinger, I think a trade is coming. Is Tyrone Taylor really we're focused so much on Benj? What about Taylor as the starting center fielder?
Like they cannot like Benj. I think is fine. They really like him. They believe in him. We have him as our I think number 4th prospect on Fangraphs in the Met system. So like if they're really wanting to give Benj a shot, like fine, give him a shot and you have other options to fill in if it doesn't work out. But like I can't imagine Tyrone Taylor is the answer in center field.
There's no way. Again, for a contending team, I'm just not going to accept that it's a Benj Taylor combo there. Absolutely, as what they expect to take.
I know he's defensively
Taylor.
But yeah.
Well, no, yeah, and that's fine. But, like, again, I'm sorry. I just keep reiterating Bellinger. Once you said that, I can't get it out of my head. He's the perfect fit for them.
Like, they've got
it's just perfect.
Yeah,
it's just perfect. He's the last piece.
You just stuck it to the Phillies. Now you can stick it
to the Yankees.
To the Yankees. Like, I feel like as the Mets, like, you've got to do that. Like,
unless I'm missing something, that's just a perfect fit.
Oh yeah, no, Tyrone. I mean, maybe they do stick with Tyrone Taylor. I'm going to bring up his.
Well, put Bellinger in center, Taylor at left, and then Benj isn't forced to do anything yet. He can take his time.
If you look at like Tyrone Taylor's Savant page for the fielding,
that's nice. That's really nice. So you can put that in center.
I knew he was good, but I didn't realize he was like really good.
I didn't realize he was so fast either.
Yeah. The problem is all the blue in the batting. Like
right.
He's 5th percentile batting run path.
Well, he came up as like a 4th outfielder VL sort of guy, like a short side platoon defensive guy. And the reason I didn't know about his sprint speed, and again, I'll reiterate what I already said in the beginning of the episode, speed doesn't translate to steals, but you would think that much of a burner would have more than a career high of 12, which he just set this past year. So we'll see how the rest of that Mets news plays out. Let's get back on our first base here. And we can talk about a guy who does have first base and outfield eligibility. He's actually higher than all those other guys. When we were talking about where Sal Stewart could move, and we were talking about Torque, Aranda, Walker, Contreras, Alec Burleson is actually another cut above that group because Contreras is at 184 and then Burleson's at 171 as a first base outfield guy. I like Burleson. I didn't realize that he had a little bit of a cost to him this year. So it looks like the market's on him as well.
With Wilson Contreras being moved and
he's locked and loaded.
Yeah, he's no longer going to be a platoon guy to start the season. He hit 271 versus left-handed pitching last year. Now, I want to caution people, it's a small sample, and like, are we expecting him to have a 302 BABIP versus lefties?
What's his career look like for Burleson?
Career stats versus lefties, he's a 235 hitter.
Okay, so normally trash.
Yeah, versus lefties. In his career 258 BABIP versus lefties. So like I'm concerned like that the BABIP's going to regress, the batting average is going to regress against lefties, and then he struggles. Now, I will say I don't think they'll necessarily platoon him because the Cardinals don't care.
Right, and if you're putting up an 800-some OPS against righties, I think they can accept a low 600s versus left. Like especially that, when you're not that's okay. Right, because
So,
they're not right now. By the way, did you notice? I'm sure you're on their, or maybe you're
I'm
not,
not.
but
No.
are you not on their roster resource right now? Entirely homegrown team.
Yeah.
The starting lineup, all saying like that. The symmetry there really stuck out to me because
There was a video on TikTok that a guy did, and now I'm blanking. Trevor May reposted it, showing like the breakdown of every team's roster construction of how they acquired players.
well,
And
because that
it's really interesting. Like,
if you find it, please send it because I love
yeah,
that stuff.
I'll go
And
find it and I'll
usually,
send it.
if you go on the roster resource page, that team column is usually a little rainbow of like they got them from all these different teams. St. Louis is literally 1 to 9, boom, all homegrown, and that's kind of cool.
And on my TikTok, I'll repost it so that way if people want to go try to find it, they can go to my page.
Perfect. I will take a look. All right. So with Burleson, you do have some concerns about things coming down from last year. I totally agree with that. But if we also throw a few more plate appearances and he's closer to the 595 that he got in 2024, are we just seeing another 2080 type season here with a 270 average?
Yeah, I think so. I think something similar to his 2024, where he got to just about 600 plate appearances, hit 21 home runs, 9 stolen bases, 269 batting average. Like, I think that is probably fairly in line, and I could see a power jump, right? Like, he's getting more plate appearances. There's no reason to think he can't get over 600 because he's probably going to be hitting high. Where does Ross Resource have him hitting in the lineup? Like
2
second or third? Yeah, okay. So
3, excuse me, 3.
yeah. So like there's a really good opportunity for him to, actually get like 650 plate appearances if he can hold his own again against lefties. So I actually don't mind this. It is a very it's not a high ceiling, right? He's never going to be a 30 home run hitter. But it's a pretty high floor, and I like guys with high floors, especially in deeper leagues. So Burleson's definitely a guy that I'm totally fine taking a shot on.
Yeah, I think so too. And first base, outfield, we always talk about having infield, outfield is really fun to have there as a extra eligibility. So I think that's good for Burleson. I don't mind him there, despite liking that group. I've become a bit more sold as we've dove deeper. I'd probably put him a little bit closer to that group, but that's picking nits with that Contreras, Walker, Aranda, Torkelson group.
The other thing I want to point out is while they do have right-handed options on the bench, they've got a lot more guys on this team that also need to platoon. Like Nolan Gorman should not be a full-time player. We have him as a full-time player right now.
Yeah.
Victor Scott's definitely get a platoon. Lars Nootbaar is another guy who's really struggled against left-handed pitching. So
shut your mouth.
I
never talk poorly about him.
Even if Burleson struggles versus lefties, I don't know that they've got the bodies to
unless he's running like a 450 OPS, I think they're going to let him grind through it there with Alec Burleson. All right, let's go on to tier 7 here. Again, we can't deep dive everybody in these last 2 tiers, or this will be a 3-hour pod, which I know some of you wouldn't mind.
I like 3-hour pods.
I don't mind them, but I personally don't have 2 more hours today, so we'll be a little bit quicker on these. But I still want to, talk about a lot of these guys, especially in tier 7. Let's start with Wilson Contreras, who we've alluded to just last with Burleson there, because he cleared out to give Burleson that space. Contreras himself goes to Boston. No longer any remnants of catching. He is full first base. And I forget who said this. I would like to credit them. I'm sorry I can't, but this is not my original thought. But I do agree with this. I want to say it was Ryan Bloomfield, but I'm not 100% sure. That the lack of catching has artificially deflated Wilson Contreras' ADP, or inflated it, making it a higher number, I should say, where he's 184, and I agree with that. I think he's way too cheap. I still love Wilson Contreras. I loved him last year as a non-catching catcher. You can take the catching away. I still like the 34-year-old going to Boston. How about you?
Yeah, I love him. I mean, and he's going to be one of my big targets, and this is why I kept mentioning him throughout the show yesterday.
Yep.
I'm going to pass on all these guys and just go get Wilson Contreras later.
184.
He's going to be hitting in a good spot in that Boston lineup, getting away from Busch Stadium. Hitting 4th in this lineup with Roman Anthony, Trevor Story, and Jarren Duran ahead of him. Yeah, I don't know. That. I don't know what there is to dislike about. I mean, he is 34. He has been injured a fair amount over the course of the last few seasons, but I mean, some of those injuries came from
catching.
Yeah, right, exactly. It was because the Cardinals had him stand too close to the
plate. Right, he got his freaking arm broken from yoinking his arm out there too far.
Still one of the worst injuries I've seen in years.
It was so bad. I winced in pain when I saw that happen to Wilson Contreras. So yes, and I think he had some injuries last year too. So it's not just the catching, but I think that played a big role. Hopefully he can stay healthy at first. I really like him over in Fenway. I think that's going to be fun for Wilson Contreras. So I'm definitely in on that price point. Let's talk about somebody brand new, Kazuma Okamoto. Going to be with the Athletics, if I have that right. What do you know?
He's with the Blue Jays.
With the Blue Jays, excuse me. What do you know about Okamoto coming over, and how good can he be this year?
Okay, so this is...
I don't know what team he's on, so you're more equipped to answer this than me.
So I think a lot of people, when they think about prospects, or not prospects, but imports coming over from Japan or Korea, like, oh, this guy's going to be a power hitter, this guy's going to be like, middle or the bat. Like, that is not what Okamoto is. Okamoto is a really, really good contact hitter. And the power is going to be the question mark. Now, he has had seasons in the NPB where he hit 40 homers, right? Or 30 plus homers. But I don't know how well the power is going to translate. I think that is the biggest question mark here. But what he will do is hit for batting average, and he's going to walk. He double-digit walk rates in each of the last 3 years in the NPB. And so he's going to be kind of an on-base guy who makes a lot of contact. Like, I would not be surprised if, as a third baseman, he can hit 300. I'm not going to project that, obviously, especially because he didn't even hit 300 in a lot of his NPB seasons.
And no one does in the majors these days, basically.
Yeah, it's very difficult. But I think you're looking at probably maybe a 270 hitter with 15 to 20 home runs.
Okay.
And a really good on-base percentage, because he does have that double-digit walk rate, which I think will translate. So I think he's interesting, especially in deeper leagues, because I think they're going to let him play, and and he's going to rack up a lot of plate appearances. I just don't know what the power is going to be, and that's the question. Like, maybe he does hit for more power than we're expecting, but right now, the projection systems, most of them have him. Actually, the Bat X has him at 27. That's ambitious for me.
Whoa. They're seeing all the power he had in Japan and bringing it over. I mean, again, Okamoto did hit for a lot of power. The average was there, like you said. I mean,
he does pull the ball a lot. He does put the ball in the air a lot. I don't know that
He did. I will point out, by the way, that NFBC has him for third base. He played 28 games. I don't know how eligibility works for the NPB with leagues when they're coming over. NFBC lists him at third.
He is third base in most formats.
But I see why he was ranked at first, just because if people are taking 20 game rules.
I don't know what Yahoo's going to do. I don't know what.
I kind of think he should have it. He played 28 games. Like, if we're doing 20 games, I don't know. But, it is a major league that he played in.
I think he does have first base on Fantrax.
Okay, good. So so if you're looking for Okamoto, he might not have first base on your website of choice, but he'll have third base, which is better anyway. I think I'd rather him have third base anyway, but he'll be an interesting hitter for Toronto. I'm really eager to see kind of how he transitions with them. He moves Clement over to second. They can kind of move him around anywhere. So obviously with Bo not coming back, that means Jimenez is going to be the shortstop.
Do you think Joe's okay right now?
Dude, honestly, when he messaged us, because he did
sending those condolences, please.
Because he messaged us. Oh, hey, I didn't see this. I was sleeping. I was like, I didn't even want to mention. Don't look at the news right now. Keeps getting worse. All right, let's go to Nolan Schanuel. Just not the best fantasy player, because there's no pop there, and I don't really see it developing. He was kind of pegged from day one as to kind of the player he was going to be, which was like a 260s type hitter with low double-digit homers. He had 264 with 12 homers last year. He is who we thought we were. Like our favorite Denny Green quote. I don't have a whole lot to go off of him. What about you with Schanuel?
No, I mean, he is a deep league on-base percentage guy, right? Double-digit walk rate with a decent average. Should be like a 350 to 360 on-base percentage kind of guy. But there's just not enough power that plays, not enough speed. I just
no
don't.
Fantasy juice if he can't hit 275 somehow. You got to get the batting average up. 264.
He's a really interesting reserve guy in a draft champions because he's going to play.
Right. I agree.
But
And he could be a boon for runs. We talked about the Angels lineup getting better. If Nolan Schanuel, like if the lineup does coalesce, he could be a bid for 80-something runs, which isn't too bad at pick 302. Yeah. So if I'm trying to say something nice about a player there, that's what I got for Schanuel. He could be about 80 runs at pick 300. You're not usually finding that. But beyond that, I got nothing for you. There's no power at first base, and that's where you get power from. Yep. Uh-oh, Joe messaged us. Let's see. What a sad 12 hours in Toronto. We're so sorry.
Send your condolences. No, not you, Paul.
I know.
Don't tip it off. But
no, I didn't. I mean, I said we're so sorry. I didn't say my condolences.
But everyone, please tweet or Blue Sky at Joe Rico. Like, you know.
Can I be honest about this next guy?
Yeah.
Isn't Alec Bohm just Nolan Schanuel of the National League?
Yeah.
I mean, he has third base eligibility, and he doesn't have universal first base, so maybe that makes him a little bit better. Does it make him 30 picks better?
Without the walks too, honestly. Like it's.
I just meant the lack of power at a corner position. That was my. Yeah. But you're right. So you can make a case that Sean Wells like real life skills,
right? Like it's.
But a similar not a 1-to-1, but very similar.
Yeah, I don't draft Alec Bohm. Like I don't think he is.
He's a third base version. 13 games over at first base, by the way. So.
I think the fact that he is third base is what like keeps him relevant. Though I mean he's going 268, so like people have kind of given up on him at this point for the most part. So
who's he going around at third base? If you haven't
Carlos Correa, Mark Vientos is going to drop.
Yeah,
Okamoto. Max Muncy, which is like feels like the biggest bargain in fantasy.
Which Muncy?
The Dodgers Muncy.
What
is going at pick 272? It feels like one of the biggest bargains. Like
I'm taking that all day.
The only reason I didn't take him in both of my first two Gladiators is because I filled up the spot too quickly. And then I went, no, I was supposed to take Max Muncy.
Yes, yes. No, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, like he's the guy that I'm just gonna have so many shares of as we go along.
Yeah, and again, cheap ways into the best lineup like the Dodgers. Got to do that all day. All right, we both love Torque. What's he doing this year? Let's just get some thoughts out on.
I think he's gonna do what he did last year, like
just their 240 and 30, and then we'll see where the runs and ribbies go.
Yeah, like I mean, the runs and ribbies are gonna be depending on where he hits in the lineup and the team around him. But
if the lineup gets better, because it was a pretty rough lineup down the stretch.
650 plate appearances last year, hit 30 bombs with a 240 batting average. Maybe the batting average comes down a little bit, but like some of the projection systems have him like 229. I guess I could see that.
That's his career. They're going with his career mark for Spencer Torkelson. I think you plan for the lower batting average, but he has 31 homers in 2 of the last 3 years. Yeah. If he stays healthy and has a full season, he's going to rip 30 bombs.
Like it's just going to keep getting better. So like, I
hope you're right.
Yeah, I like Torkelson a lot. Like Torkelson is one of my guys. Like he is one of the reasons that I'm willing to pass up on a lot of earlier first basemen because I know I can get those 30 bombs later.
Yes, and if you're planning for the average, then even if he hits 230, you're not going to be killed by it. You'll take the 30 bombs.
Because like I'm passing up on some of those early first base guys to get an outfielder with
stable batting,
or get second baseman with batting average. Well, not a second baseman because there is no good second baseman this week.
How about this next guy? If you needed batting average, this is normally a guy to turn to, but it comes with penalties. It is the emptiest batting average ever. Of course, I'm talking about Luis Arraez. Didn't hit over 300 for the first time in 4 years, but 292 is still really good. 8 homers, 11 steals, still dwarfs the fantasy production of one Gavin Lux. So I want to be fair and give him some props there. He was still like 10 times the guy that Gavin Lux was. And 60-60 on the runs ribbies, like 66-61 to be exact. But 60's there for Luis Arraez. It's just such a boring fit, and there's no power. I have a hard time ever finding myself taking Arraez, but does he have real fits if you plan for it? Or is he supposed to be, or do you use him as an average oasis? You know how I like to plan if I'm going to take these like one category, weird profiles. But
like these kind of profiles are guys that I don't want to plan for. These are guys that fall into my lap, that I go like, oh, I could use a little bit of batting average, and everything else is amazing. Luis Ariz sitting there. Like, I don't want to make a plan around Luis Ariz because
because I don't. The reason I want to is because so much can go wrong, though. Because I don't want.
Well, then just say you're out on him because you're never going to.
Well, I am out. Yeah, of course I am.
So, the reason I say I don't want to make a plan around these one category guys is because if you lose that category, if you lose that guy, then you've lost that category. Whereas, if he's being added to a team of mine that is already fine or decent in batting average, I can make the argument for him there. Like, that's the only...
Well, he should never be your only answer for average. What I mean when I say plan around him is have an overabundance of power to take on a guy who has fewer than 10 homers, right? Because I think the shorthand, at least last year going in, to be 80th percentile in homers was he needed like 22 homers per spot, per roster spot, right? So when you're taking 8 from him, you got to make that up. And so what I mean by having a plan is that if I have that power abundance, then I can take that from Ariz.
I completely understand what you're saying. I think and I don't think you're going to disagree with what I'm about to say. So we're not really disagreeing that much. I just don't know why we're having the discussion mostly because like if you're making that plan, you have a bad plan. Like that is a bad plan. It's just a bad plan to have Luis Ariz as part of your strategy for
why?
Like,
why is it a bad plan if you plan for it, though?
You're making a plan around a guy who's going to be...
Not around him. Stop acting like he's the central focus. You're taking the word plan like I'm fucking planning for pick 300, and if I don't do it, I'm going to kill myself or something. What I'm saying by plan is like take on that sort of power deficit and have the comfort to do it. Same with like a Chandler Simpson. I got to have that power. And so like I see what you're saying about how they could fall in. Okay, I have, 330 homer guys.
What if he's not there and you've already constructed your team with this average deficit and now like who are you gonna go get?
Oh no, I would just take him where I need to. Like you wouldn't beat me on the pick. I would take him at like 250 then.
But if two people come in with that same plan, one's not leaving with him. Like there's only one.
So
and
like, I mean that I don't care about. Like, I mean, if I'm making a plan, I go out and get my guys for the plan.
I just think it's a flawed plan.
I don't
do it. Just don't do it.
You haven't made that case. I will say that you have not made that case at all.
You make this plan and go against me in a draft.
No, I don't. I'm saying I don't want to do it.
Okay, then why are you saying you can? Or you like?
Why are you being dense? Why are you not acting like I'm making a clear point here about how it works best to bring a guy like this on your team? Is that you should have some structure around it here. I'm not saying I want to do it. I'm saying that's how they're going to fit best. Like you're being obstinate here for no reason. But I'm just saying, like, when you take such an extreme profile, you can't just keep going and act like everything's all fine when you paired him with a bunch of 22 home run guys and then wonder why you don't have any fucking homers.
Yeah, just don't do it. It's just and not to mention, like, I don't think we get NPB stats in fantasy baseball because he's not signed to a team, and I have no idea where he's going to end up. I mean, I know he's going to sign somewhere, but like, what is his role this year? Mm-hmm. Like, is he a full-time... Like, where is he a full-time
player? I'm not a Luis Ariz guy.
I just don't... I honestly, I can't see the fit. Like, where is...
Somebody will let him play. He's got take 4 straight full years hitting threesome. I guarantee a 29-year-old doing that. I shouldn't guarantee anything, but I'd be surprised if he just sits out there.
I mean, I think he's going to sit out there for a while because I just don't know where you play him. He's so bad defensively.
I mean, someone will put him at first or DH. I don't know which team that is yet, but somebody will. He's too good.
Is this a Pirates?
Allegedly. I hope not. They've got that position covered.
I know they do, but like...
No. They're having actually a halfway decent offseason. There's no way. No, that would be horrendous. They got Horwitz and O'Hearn. No.
I don't know where else... Who needs a first baseman or a DH that is average only? Like, he doesn't even walk.
I mean, nobody needs him, but somebody will let him come be on their team. I mean, the Rockies can continue their overhaul. Who the fuck is Troy Johnston? Yeah, he's going to the Rockies. And then he actually has some intrigue. Because now if he can hit 350 again...
Can you imagine him in Colorado?
I mean... Yeah, I can. Troy Johnson is penciled in. He's going to Colorado.
I'm just saying it would be like the guy who only does batting average going to the place.
Going to the best place. I think this is where he's going to end up going. They're going out and getting a bunch of these guys that like have a bit of name value and they're halfway decent players.
Again, right?
No, they'll just put him at first.
No,
Who is Troy Johnston?
No. I'm just wondering. I'm not for the Rockies. I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, I don't think so because he was really bad. Right? We're talking about Luis Ariz. We're spending way too much time on him. I understand, but we're trying to find a spot for him now, and he can't play second. I don't think. So I don't even think a team would stretch him. Yeah, I don't even think they'd want to do that to stretch. Well, they let Jorge Polanco play there.
I know. Well, right now they've got Cole Young at second and Ben Williamson at third.
Oh yeah, we talked about that yesterday with Williamson. And we were like, he cannot be their starting third baseman going in, right?
They've got to go a different direction here. Like,
they have to. Did Polanco actually play second? It looks like he might have DH'd mostly last year. Oh, only 38 games. Fair enough. But he played 112 games there in 24. Yeah. My point is that maybe they're open to playing a bad second baseman. All right, let's move on. I want to talk a little Manzardo. Actually, let's look at these next four, next three, because I know Vaughn we love. We'll do a little deeper dive on him.
Well, can we just eliminate one off the bat? Tristan Casas has no place.
Well, we don't have to eliminate him. We need to do something with him. Where do you think he's going to go?
We just said we don't have a spot to send Luis Ariz. Like, why do we have a spot to send Pawtucket? Like, that's where Tristan Casas is going.
What if he goes to Colorado? I don't know what the hell they would trade.
I think the problem is, I think they will trade Casas at some point.
I think they will. Rockies don't have
coming
anything.
off of patellar tendon rupture. Like, that is a long rehab, right? That is the injury that has ruined a number of football players' careers. Now, he's not a football player. He doesn't need to make the shifty moves, especially as a first baseman. But I don't think he's going to be ready for the start of the season, so I don't know that they're going to trade him this offseason. I think he starts the year in Pawtucket and is not worth drafting.
Then we're out. We're out completely on Casas. Manzardo versus Steer. Let's just put them in a 1v1 here. Team construction be damned because they do give a little bit. I think Manzardo's kind of a power-only guy where maybe the average might be a little bit of a risk, and Steer's maybe a little bit more of a flatter profile there where you can kind of get a bit of everything. 27 bombs last year for Manzo, but 237 average. We've seen what Steer's done the last few years. Who do you like better between those two?
Can I just fence it and say it really depends on your roster?
No, because I explicitly said not to do that at the outset. I said roster construction be damned. Which player do you value more, like when you're sitting there? Okay, is it just because he could rip 30, way more
they've got
consistently?
that wind tunnel in right field, and he's a lefty, and like he showed last year that he could hit, 27 home runs, and I don't think they're going to platoon him. This
might change your opinion, so I'm interrupting you with good cause. They're 30 picks apart, and Steer's cheaper. Does 2 rounds change your mind at all?
I don't think it changes my mind.
I don't know if it does either, but I wanted to give you that info while you were analyzing.
I like Steer. Now, maybe in like a Yahoo league where I get the infield, outfield.
Right, because we liked Steer better when he was multi-positional. He's now first base only, and he's like kind of a boring 20-homer sort of like solid guy.
Okay, so like in a shallower league where I get the infield, outfield, and he is a guy like a daily lineups league where I can plug and play him in a bunch of different spots. Mm-hmm. Maybe I do like Steer better, but because
you'll get him cheaper.
Like in a regular 12-teamer where like I'm weekly moves, things like that, or even daily moves. I think for the most part I'm gonna go Manzardo because I just think the upside is greater, and I'm shooting for upside in that kind of league.
I think so too. Yeah, I like Manzo to be a 30 guy. I think he can be a 30 bomb guy. He was 27 last year. I'm not even making a crazy statement. Let's say 35 to actually put a little boldness behind it because I do believe that. Like I think he's got the power to do that. Like you said, selling out for that wind tunnel in Cleveland can certainly help too. So I like Manzo as well.
And he is selling out. Like the contact skills have kind of decreased. No, I don't want to say like falling apart or anything but they've decreased from what we saw in the minor leagues because he's selling out for that power, and I'm fine with that.
I'll take the trade. Yep,
I do think there is a world though that like with Manzardo, like I think at this point Spencer Steer is what Spencer Steer is.
Yes,
like he's a 20 home run guy with a mediocre to bad average.
What about the steals though? 15, 25, 7.
Cincinnati stopped running, right? Cincinnati was a team that ran and no longer does. So I don't think that's coming back.
So that's Francona slowing the team down that we didn't really account for last year. Because I remember coming into 25, we talked about how Cincinnati was a running squad. They were top 3 in the league.
Not anymore, not without Bell as the manager.
You said they dropped to 15 last year?
I think they were 19th. If I remember.
Oh yeah, 19. Yeah, you said that earlier when we were talking about Lux.
I don't think Steer's stolen bases are coming back. So it's a really kind of boring profile.
Yep.
Which, like I said, is fine in a league where you can maximize his plate appearances, to fill in spots for other guys, right? But like as like an everyday starter on my roster, I want Manzardo because I do think there's a world in which Manzardo eventually does both hit for power and gets that contact skills back. If he can get that zone contact rate to like the 88% like we saw kind of on average in the minor leagues, plus has that wind tunnel power, like all of a sudden like Manzardo has massive upside. And at worst, like you're still getting power with like a 230 batting average.
Yeah, a 255, 35 homer type season for Manzardo
like
is in the cards as a breakout.
That's 80th percentile, right?
Yep.
So like
it is there. Whereas with Steer, like you said, he is who he's been,
who he is, yeah,
and who we've seen. All right, let's talk our boy Vaughn, because we've been big on him. We hyped him up a bunch yesterday, saying we're going to pass on all these guys. You mentioned Contreras as well. We talked about all these later round guys that we were going to be way more comfortable with. Now we are giving you Podhorser's rankings, and this is the bottom of tier 7. He does not agree with us on Vaughn here, who goes actually almost the same ADP as Berger. They're 290 and 293. So let's just start with an either or on those two, since they're the same price. Do you stick with Vaughn?
Yeah, I'm taking Andrew Vaughn. I love Andrew Vaughn.
Give us some insights on Vaughn's breakout with Milwaukee, because he leaves Chicago, completely flips on a dime. I think from day one. I want to say he hit a bomb the very first game with them.
It was from day one.
Off
Reese
to the races.
Hoskins got hurt. They brought him up from the minor leagues. And those of you watching the YouTube, and we're trying to use more of like the screen share in the YouTube for those of you who want that like that kind of stuff. Look at all that red on his StatCast page. Like he was really, really good from the moment he stepped on the field in Milwaukee, and like there's no real reason to think that like he just can't be that guy. And he's a former top prospect who's dealt with injuries and was, he was Orioled around, right? Like up and down the minor leagues. But also like having to change positions to the outfield, because they have Jose Abreu? Was that what it was? They had somebody at first base where like they were like, oh, we can't play our top prospect here. We're gonna move him to the outfield. But
it was Abreu.
Yeah, okay, it was Abreu. Like
pretty decent guy.
From I think it was June 7th, I believe, or sorry, July 7th. When he debuted with the Brewers, he had 254 plate appearances, hit 308, 375, 493 with 9 home runs. Only struck out at a 14.5% clip, walked at a 9.5% clip. I think they're going to give him everyday playing time. Like,
I think so.
No reason not to at this point. So I think he is one of the most undervalued players at the position and in fantasy this year. I don't understand why he's going this late. He's always had really, really good contact skills. We know he's got power in that bat too. I just don't know why he's going as late as he is. I
don't really either, but I'm happy to take it.
Yeah, I think there is a world where he hits 30 bombs with like a 290 batting average.
That would be amazing. Of course, that would be like a uber breakout for Vaughn, basically taking what he did with Milwaukee and taking it over the full season. But I don't think that's impossible. It's not the projection. It's, the bold prediction outcome there for Vaughn. And I'm just surprised that he's...
projecting him for like 26 or 27 home runs and a 275. Like that's
fantastic.
That late where you're getting him, I think is like I think the projection is way higher than or at least my projection of Andrew Vaughn is way higher than the other projection system.
Yeah, they're sitting low for me.
Yeah, they're taking way too much into account his Chicago time. I just
and I also like that, like, even if he does fade back into the Chicago guy, he was a league average type guy. He was kind of a boring league average, 20 sort of homers. Milwaukee let that fly in 2024 with Hoskins. And I bring that up to say, like, I don't think they're going to run off of Vaughn if he isn't the guy that he was last year and instead is just kind of a league average type guy. But I think there is the upside to be much more. That is what I'm excited for.
The biggest flaw, or do you remember what I say the biggest flaw in most projection systems is?
Playing time?
Playing time,
yep.
Right? So, like, all the projection systems, if you look over on Fangraphs, has him for 136 games or fewer. Like,
why?
They're just, for some reason, one of the big flaws with our projection systems on Fangraphs is a lot of them default the playing time to Fangraphs depth charts. This is why
Right.
4 of the 5 systems have 136 games, because they're all just taking depth charts projections.
Yes.
And so like this is why I think it is so important, if you play in a league where a $17 purchase will make the difference, go get Tanner Bell software. And even if you don't do your own projections, you just take the Bad X or you take ATC.
Exactly. You don't have to do your own.
Just change the playing time.
Yes. If you believe,
all you have to do is change the plate appearances, and it will populate everything for you. Because if you like, let's say you like the Bad X, right? And they currently have him at 529 plate appearances. If you give him 100 more plate appearances, all of a sudden his 23 home runs, the Bad X as projected, moves up to like 26 or 27. That's a big difference in the dollar values.
Absolutely. And that's like, you can do that yourself. I like that advice of, you don't have to make your projections.
Like if you're
Pick
playing
the one you
a
want.
$20 league, you're not going to go buy a $17 software. I get it. Like I totally.
Sure.
If you're playing in a few $100 leagues, or like, you know, like you're playing in 5 $50 leagues, $17 maybe worth it, especially if the bragging rights is worth more to you.
Absolutely. If you want to win, and again, all you have to do is just take what you think the playing time is going to be, because that's how you're drafting anyways. Like, I think this guy's going to play more. I think this guy's going to play less.
I gotta
put it in.
Banner about like a sponsorship deal here.
Yeah, I mean, we love promoting him.
So it's such a great. Like,
it's just so valuable, and of course, he and Jeff write the process, which also recommend.
Yeah, well, we did a whole episode on the process, so I definitely go. But like, yeah, I mean, just. It's so worth it, because I do think what the projection systems miss the most is playing time.
Yes, and they admit that, right? Because it's so hard. So if you think you've got insights,
this is why
especially
people like Mike Kurland and Jason Martinez are so valuable, because they really help us figure out that playing time.
Exactly, and if you think that that's something you've got a good handle on, because you read those tea leaves and you read folks like Mike Kurland during spring training, and you're analyzing all of that, all you got to do is change the plate appearances, and you'll get your own projection sheet there. All right, I do want to get into this last tier here. We're just going to zoom through them, but I do think a couple merit a little bit more discussion, including the number 1 guy in tier 8, Munetake Murakami. Surprise deal to the White Sox there. I don't think anyone was necessarily seeing that on either the team nor the term, because it was another one of these deals that's not super long. There's excitement with Murakami coming over, but there is some grave concern about his swing and miss. Munetake Murakami, where are you at on him coming over from MPB?
I mean, I think there's going to be power, and I think there's going to be a ton of strikeouts. But he walks. 14% walk rate last year in the NPB was actually his lowest walk rate since 2019. So like in on base percentage leagues, like there is a world in which he has like a 340, 350 on base percentage, along with 30 home runs. Like there is legit power. I think there was like somebody came out with a stat that said something like, oh, he really struggled against high velocity. Lots of guys struggle against high velocity.
This is the wrong league to come to for that, though.
But 2, it was actually wrong. Like it was just a bad stat, and I don't know. I can't remember who tweeted out or anything like that. But like he was actually fine against high velocity. Like I think he's going to be fine as long as you can handle a potentially bad batting average, right? On base percentage leagues, for sure. Like he's going to be much better. So like if you are like I'm in Tout Wars, which is an on base percentage league, he's definitely going to be a guy I kind of target. I think there's 30 to 35 homer potential here with like a 230 batting average, maybe lower. Like the Bat X has him at 207. That is in the range of outcomes. So like you really have to prepare for yourself.
That's terrifying, dude.
Yeah, this is one of those guys that you would pair with Arise or pair with, Chandler Simpson, because like there's no speed either.
Right.
Though I mean he did steal 10 at times in
He's got a few double-digit ones, but they caught a decent number. I don't know if they're going to let him do that.
Have him for like 9 to 12 stolen base. I don't have him stealing that. I think I would project him for 5, like 4 or 5, and then like anything else I got on top of it is kind of gravy. The real question is going to be like, how much does he swing and miss? Like, is he the Bat X has him at 37% strikeout rate? Like that is the question, but. The White Sox will let him play. Like, if he had signed with a really good team and struck out 40% of the time, he wouldn't play. The White Sox will let him play for the next 2 years, and just let him hit bombs and strike out. So, like, if you can handle that, if you're in a punt batting average league, there you go. Like,
or an OBP league, right? Because you mentioned that Murakami does walk, so maybe you don't need to worry as much about the batting average risk. Let's see here. He's played some first over there, so I think Mike just ranked him in case, but it looks like he is going to play third for the White Sox, and that is where he's going to be eligible. So again, your league may be different. I don't know how they look at NPB
that is
coming
the other
over.
Question, though, because like he is not looked at as a good defender.
Oh, excuse me. We do have a pencil in at first with Vargas third, who's also not that good though either.
No, this is a very fun team to watch.
Yes.
But it could be also
at the dish.
It could be also fun for the wrong reason.
Fun at the dish, funny in the field because there are some fielders out here.
Like, look at the strikeout rates on this team.
It could be
Montgomery.
They could get 20 K'd by some stud one night, and then one of their guys could do a 4-homer game the very next night. That is the range of outcomes with this team right now. Is that Max Scherzer going to rip his second 20K game, and then
imagine
Colson Montgomery going to hit 4 homers. Oh my God!
Joe Ryan's going to be facing this team multiple times
with the wind.
And you're never gonna know what's gonna happen. Like
with the win, I'm calling it now. He's gonna have a double-digit strikeout game and a 3-homer game against the White Sox this year, and it might be the same game.
Who was the guy? I can't remember. There was a pitcher. Oh, was it Bailey Ober?
I was gonna say it had to be Ober.
Great against like every team except for the Royals one year. Like
he opened the season with a nightmare against them, and then had a second nightmare.
There's gonna be a Bailey Ober type of guy where, like, in the AL Central this year, that has like amazing stats, and then you go, he got blown up by the White Sox 3 times.
Yep.
Like
14 earned runs and 6 1/3 for Bailey Ober against the Royals in 24.
They're going to hit a ton of bombs, and it's going to be really fun to watch. But they are also going to strike out a crap ton.
So you're going to want to.
My Roth is just going to be up there,
You're going to want to start guys against them, but it is going to be scary. It is that weird push pull of like, shit, I should start them because I could get 20 Ks.
They're going to be like a popular streamer that Matt E. Wood then tweets about.
Oh yeah, the bomb when he does the bombs, absolutely. Yeah. All right, last guys here. Just a sentence and go. Josh Bell. Does he have a team yet?
He's on Minnesota. He's going to be playing every single day in Minnesota.
When did he sign with them? I totally missed that.
Early in the offseason.
I'm an idiot then. Sorry. Okay.
Draft champions.
Okay.
Really deep 15-team mix. He's an accumulator.
Absolutely.
He signed a month ago on the 15th of December. So
okay. I was moving. Okay, I'll take myself off the hook for that. I was moving.
20 homers and a 240 batting average. Like, what is that? What league is that to do something for you?
Yeah. Deeper league. Ernie Clement, we mentioned that he moves around. I don't even know what his first base eligibility is. It might be shallower leagues, but he's kind of a super util sort of guy. Anything for Ernie Clement?
I mean, I definitely think we should just skip this one and then talk about him at second base, just because Joe's going to want to talk about him.
Okay, we'll do that then. We'll do that. Miguel Vargas has been our guy for years. Are you sticking with him?
Okay, so I kind of go back to what I originally said when Vargas was a prospect, in that he is not a really good fantasy option, and I think people were overrating him as a fantasy option with prospect circles. I still think he's that way. I think this is who he is. I think this guy is going to give you better on base percentage than average, teens home runs, use some chip and stolen bases. He's going to play every single day, which has value, but it's an accumulator profile. He was
my lying eyes, dude. I swear this guy's a better hitter than this, but it's just not panning out. He's a 204 career hitter with a 233 BABIP. I swear the guy that I saw is way better than this Miguel Vargas. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy for him to be this bad with average, though.
He has the opposite problem of Yandy Diaz. He puts everything in the air.
Yes.
The launch
That's a great point.
Is too high.
Yep.
And it leads to a 10% infield fly ball rate, 52% fly ball rate, where a lot of things are hitting the warning track, and
those don't go for hits. Like, you can't get sneaky hits with fly balls. That's actually the exact reason. Then I didn't realize he was quite that much of a fly ball guy, despite being a fan of it. And what's worse is he never gets any freaking bombs from it either. Yeah. The trade-off is that you're supposed to have a worse average, but you get the bombs, but he doesn't even get those.
He doesn't have prodigious power. It's decent power, but he's just under it too much.
So then how come no one's told him to get out of the air so much?
It's easier said than done. I'm sure people have told him.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like
No,
the same reason why people have been telling Yandy Diaz to stop hitting the ball on the ground.
Right. It's
like,
not flicking a switch. No,
easy,
you're right.
you know?
You're right. You got to the majors doing this too, and someone says
the hardest thing to do in baseball, like
in sports,
yeah.
And you get to the majors doing something, and someone says do the direct opposite, and you're like, no, absolutely not. So no, I get it. That's fair.
He tries and he still can't.
Right. He might just be struggling with it. So Miguel Vargas, I will say, normally I would still stick with a guy like this. His price is kind of high for me at 276. Am I crazy to say that? That feels a little high for somebody who hit 234, 16, and 6. Like, I don't know, man.
Again,
he is first, third. Yes.
But yeah, 276.
But Donovan goes after him. Josh Lowe goes after him. The aforementioned Ernie Clement with second, third, and short eligibility, and then first in shallower leagues.
I think the hard part is, like, after you get past Vaughn, who goes at 292, there ain't much there. Like, there are guys, but, like, there isn't guys you're going, oh, this is my dude.
I'm sorry. Like, these were supposed to be fast, and then I started talking about Vargas. I know.
Be honest.
Colt Keith, 18 games, so eligibility in some leagues. We can talk more about him later because I know we've liked talking about him in the past.
He's my boy.
You love him. Are you sticking with him? I am personally. It was a rough year, but I'm gonna go to the well one more time. He's 24 years old. I think if he doesn't make a real step this year, then I'll start to peel back. But I'm with Keith for one more year. What about you? Okay.
Still my boy. Like, yeah, I mean, he's still a really, really good in-zone contact hitter with power. And, like, I think that he's going to be probably on a strong side of platoon, but leading off.
Yes.
In Detroit, like, which is a really good lineup. So, like, I love Colt Keith. I'm not giving up on him yet.
Me neither. We can dive deeper at second and third, which he has eligibility for across all formats with at least 20 games there.
Well, and that's why I love him too, right? Like, he is eligible at two of the more shallow infield positions, and I feel like the price is just way too low right now.
I'll definitely take Colt Keith at what pick is he at?
I think he's at actually, I don't know.
Hang on, I'm getting it. 311. Yep.
Yeah.
Amber is the color of my energy. I'm taking that all day. All right, let's. Ryan O'Hearn is now with Pittsburgh, coming off of a pretty good year with Baltimore and San Diego. Can he tame the beast that is PNC Park? This lineup getting better too, I should say. It's looking more competent, similar to what we said about the Angels. O'Hearn in Pittsburgh.
What's his price?
Ryan O'Hearn is going to cost you pick 270.
Okay, so Ryan O'Hearn right now...
First base outfield, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's projected to be in the everyday starting lineup, not platooning, because Pittsburgh has so many guys like Horowitz, O'Neal Cruz, Mangum, that they have to platoon, and you can't platoon everybody. They also have Jack Sawinski, who's out of options on the bench, so, like, he's obviously a lefty, so it's one less platoon option that they've really got. I think that's going to end up being a massive mistake. Like, I know he hit 278 versus lefties last year, and they're going to be like, hey, he showed he could hit lefties last year. He had a 358 BABIP against left-handed pitching.
I don't think that's proving you can do it.
And like, he's a career 283 BABIP against left-handed pitching. So, like, I think there's going to be a major crashing, and I don't love the idea of Ryan O'Hearn hitting in a bad park on a team that should be better, but it's not going to be good every day. Like, I think that batting average is going to get weighed down by what he does versus lefties. He will either lose playing time or you will eat that batting average drop. And so I just don't want to have anything to do with Ryan O'Hearn.
270, not exactly cheap either. I should point out. I just said 275 with Vargas, not exactly cheap. Again, we're talking deep leagues, draft champions like that. Like, you're still picking players that you're expecting some stuff from. So yeah, I agree with you there.
In your everyday lineup.
Exactly. And he moved from Baltimore to San Diego, and the ISO went from 180 to 110. And now we're moving to PNC. And PNC, folks, fourth worst home run park with an 87 factor for the last 3 years, just below Petco at 90. So what I would do if I were you is I would take, I would not draft him, but what I would do is I would take the San Diego line, even though it's only a 50-game sample, and I would say that that's my upside. Not my projection, not my expectation. That is your upside, which was 276 and 4 homers in 183 plate appearances, which translates to 16 homers and 600 plate appearances for O'Hearn. In other words, I took the long way of saying it. Justin did it quickly. Pass. Gavin Sheets, what's he doing? Does he have a team yet? Is he still in San Diego?
I don't know where Gavin
Yeah,
Sheets is.
he's listed in San Diego for
He's in San Diego.
NFBC. Now, he isn't first base eligible unless you play 13 game. Okay, he's another guy we've liked in the past. He did a few things here and there last year. I remember him being a waiver pickup,
Yeah, he
for
was
a
actually
week.
really good. Like 19 home runs. Like
Take that all day.
Yeah, like I think he'll probably do something similar. Maybe he takes a little bit of a step back, but I think I don't know what's happening in San Diego anymore.
They have to play him though, right? Because
I think so.
you can only play they got all the studs, right? And then you got to start filling in with some of these, more average type pieces. I think Gavin Sheets, I think he's the everyday DH. I think he's even going to play against lefties.
Yeah, he shouldn't.
I agree with you.
One versus them. The problem is, I don't know that they've got Mason McCoy maybe.
Who the hell is that?
He's the shortstop prospect that never.
That's going to be your backup 31. DH. I would rather just play Lux at that point. Or God damn it, why don't you call him Lux? I'd rather play Sheets.
This does feel like a Luis Ariz coming back situation, doesn't it?
Right, and then just let those two platoon.
Yeah.
And you get two different things. You get the power from Sheets. You get the batting average from Ariz. I think you're right.
Or Mark Vientos. Bring me Mark Vientos to
now you're talking.
Now you got a Vientos and Sheets,
and he can play for Sheets or Cronenworth versus lefties. One of them.
Yeah.
You probably still play Cronenworth because he can bring defensive value. So he would platoon with Sheets, but then he can play versus right. He can play for Sheets or Cronenworth regularly versus rights, not all the time, but I think that would help Vientos. What do you think they would do in a trade? Because they don't really have outfield to give either.
Well, I think you send back some prospects. I think
I think it'd be a prospect trade.
Yeah, that's just and I don't think you'd have to give up good prospects. Like Vientos has shown some power, but his profile isn't super coveted within baseball. So
agreed, it's not a hard profile to find. I think it would be one okayish prospect or two. Never heard of them types, unless you follow prospects.
Not arbitration eligible yet. That the Padres are in fine. The Padres are the only team that actually really have. Well, Padres and the Twins are the teams that have the real excuses to not spend.
Right.
Because of their dire ownership financial issues. Right.
Yes.
I understand why the Padres are doing what they're doing. I just didn't understand what they did to put themselves into this mess.
The only one that really, really gets... Well, the two that get me are Bogarts and then our next guy here. I didn't even realize he was next. So let's just loop in Cronenworth here. Those were the two deals I just didn't understand.
Giving you Darvish.
Oh, yeah. When he was
weird.
When he was not, showing any signs of health. Yeah, those are the three. That's three big moves.
Yeah.
So I can't say those are just the three. That's three huge moves that I think are catastrophic. I liked that they were spending. Go out and get guys pay players. But those were bad moves. Those were just bad moves. But anyway, Cronenworth is one of them to me.
One and the Bogarts one, I kind of get.
No, not Bogarts after what they already had. 11 years?
Yeah, the 11 years.
11 years is crazy.
That's what everybody was getting 11, 12, 13 years. It's just...
And now they're why couldn't we go crazy in the offseason when guys are getting 3-4 year deals like this year? But with Croney, he was one of the ones to get a pretty hefty deal, 7 years, $80 million. Now, $80 million is fine. It's the term that gets me 7 years for him because he's already kind of just a league average guy. And with only first base eligibility these days, he has second base. I forgot he had to shift to second base last year. So he's actually only second base eligible. And then if you play 10-game eligibility, he has first and short. Yeah. So let's talk more about him at second base then and just get your thoughts on Jared Triolo to end this because he's the last guy that Mike listed. He is a utility defensive guy. He did go 7-13 last year. Does he play for the Pirates this year as their super util again?
Yeah, I think that is kind of what his role is going to be in Pittsburgh.
Do you take him in a DC? Is he a DC guy for you, Triolo?
Actually, I think we haven't penciled in as the everyday third baseman. And that might be right because they don't have Ke'Bryan Hayes anymore.
Right. He's got triple eligibility, too. He has first, third, and short.
And, Nick York really isn't a third baseman. He can, play there in a pinch. But,
right.
I think he's the everyday player at third base, which makes him a little bit more interesting.
Pick 409 for a triple eligible guy who might have angle on a starting job. I'm not going to sit here and try to convince y'all that Jared Triolo is worth a damn. But again, we're talking DCs here, folks, when you're turning over every rock. And I think a guy like this gets overlooked because people want to find a shinier rock. So they'll take a prospect. And one of the things that Justin especially has harped on with our DC coverage the last few years is stop taking so many damn prospects. This is why you don't have anybody to play.
We talked about it on Sunday with Jeff. Like he said, like the prospects don't pan out a ton.
This is the kind of guy you should be taking instead of that top 100 prospect, Jared Triolo. It's boring as shit. I get it.
You still want to take those guys if you think there's a reasonable chance, but like five out of your 50 should be injury risk or prospects, and the rest should be guys like this that are boring as fuck, but we're going to get plate appearances.
Yes, because I think he's going to get at least 350 plate appearances. By the way,
I think he's going to get 600.
Which would be great.
Nobody else there, like
that would be perfect.
Bring somebody else in, but like
we know the third base market sucks. Remember we covered that the other day.
Suarez or nothing, right?
Right.
Like I don't see, and I'm looking at their currently they have nobody on their 40-man roster at third base in the minor leagues. Like
Triolo's the guy then.
Yeah,
I will repeat all of these same talking points with Cronenworth at the second base preview because he's going pick 410. He goes after Triolo, and it's the same exact vibe where it's like
same thing.
You might as well just take the guy.
That now, like we don't need to go back through it. Like
so that's Cronenworth. It's the exact same vibe. These are guys who play.
It's draft champions.
Yep.
It's
they're boring, nice band-aids.
Simulators,
that you feel good that you have late in the year when you're like, damn,
you're not gonna have them in your everyday lineup. But when in August when you lose a dude,
you have someone to turn to.
You have someone that you know is going to be playing. So
right, and the volume, even if it's not great performance, is worth better than zeros.
Taking zero, yeah. Absolutely.
There you go. There's first base, folks. Overall, your approach seems to be to wait, right, Justin? Do I have that right? Like if you can't get a mega stud. And I don't even know that you're dying to get the mega studs.
I mean, obviously, if a guy drops,
sure,
I could go, oh, okay, hey, this guy dropped, I'll take him. But for the most part, at first base, I want Vladdy for sure, right? Kurt's never gonna fall to me. Bryce Harper's a guy that I'm willing to take where he's going, but after that, I'm waiting until I'm probably outside the top 90. Vinny P.
Yep. Well, your boy Soderstrom, yeah. Oh, you said top 90. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. And then again, I'm waiting until we get to that 180 range where it's, Wilson Contreras, Christian Walker, Oanda, Burleson, Torkelson, all the way down to my boy Andrew Vaughn. I'm
approaching it pretty similarly. I've got maybe a little bit more interest in some of those higher guys on a few of the ones that we named yesterday, but not that much to where I'm going to die for them. I would rather wait to that same area that you like, that Vinny P. Now he's going to move up, but Soderstrom at 97 is hot, and then jump down to that next group, starting with Wilson Contreras. I don't see myself with a lot of premium first basemen, not because they're bad or I think they're trash. I just like what I can get later with other things.
For people who don't understand what we're talking about, just wait until we talk about second base on Monday.
Yes.
Or whenever we get to it.
Second base next week.
That's when you'll see
not
second
safe
base
for work
is terrible.
It's so bad, y'all.
It's deep. But
with sameness, but it starts the depth starts late. You're talking pick 150, and then there's 10 guys. That's crazy.
There's only 2 guys who are eligible at second base, at least in NFBC world, right? Obviously in Yahoo, where it's 10-game eligibility, it's a little. There may be more that I'm just forgetting, but there are only 2 guys in the top 50 of the ADP. There's only 3 guys in the top 100. It is a bad position at the top. There is depth at the bottom, but it's gross.
It's a weird position. So we will talk second base next week. I'll be eager to hear how you feel about Jazz, Cattell, and Bryce Terrain, because those are the only 3 in the top 100. And then it's a weird pool. So we'll do that with Joe.
I can just spoiler alert.
There you go. I'll be eager to hear what you think about his power. So we will talk next week. We'll be doing second base. Until then, have a good one. What are you and Jay getting together on Sunday?
Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna talk about yet. I'll probably let him.
Maybe some more hot stove.
yeah, hope maybe we'll have more signings between now and then. I'm sure I'll let him talk about Josh Lowe being traded. And
Yeah, I think chips are going to fall. Like, we just had 2 big blocks off with Tucker and Bichette. I think that should open some floodgates just to get, not necessarily other outfield and third base, but just if they were interested in those guys, just seeing those 2 big pieces go, I think some other things will start to fall in place. So hopefully that happens in the next couple of days so y'all get some moves to cover.
Yeah.
All right, until then, we'll talk next week.
Take it easy.